John Carpenter's Halloween from 1978 may not have been the first great horror movie of the 70s. That's The Exorcist, easily. But it was the film that ultimately inspired the whole slasher genre. I remember seeing, I don't know, I was actually around at the time, but looking back and seeing old critics like Roger Ebert saying that this is comparable to Psycho is quite the compliment for it. I personally don't think that this is quite as good as Psycho, but in terms of the whole slasher genre, this is easily the best. All the copycats that it got, like most notably Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, Halloween is the best one because there's a difference between horror movie freak shows and actually intelligent horror movies, and this one crosses the line of being something that's legitimately good. And frankly, what does the movie do that makes it legitimately something good? One thing that you have is its atmosphere, its tension, its music. All those things are perfectly good. Plus, you got its invincible killer, Michael Myers. But of course, Michael Myers, being the invincible killer, the shape, the personification of evil, that's always been a thing. But really, the thing that ultimately that sets this apart from other things before and after are the acting and the characters. Now, okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Say that is more of a freak show than it is an actually good horror movie. I do like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but you really didn't care about the characters, and the acting really wasn't that good on behalf of the victims. Really didn't care about the victims getting killed or anything. It was mostly just seeing this deranged family mutilate a bunch of teenagers. But in Halloween, on the other hand, the acting is really good. Mainly Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald Pleasance, who are the main characters, and we get to know them well. They're not just these teenage and adult archetypes that just run around screaming or anything. Jamie Lee Curtis, her Laurie Strode character, is actually smart. She actually fights back, and we have a rooting interest. We actually root for her, and that's something that we miss a lot in a lot of horror movies, even the good ones. I mentioned I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre from '74, but we didn't have a rooting interest in that, and that's what makes, to me at least, what makes Halloween the better film. And that's easily what makes Halloween the better film, and when comparing it to a bunch of future slasher films. Plus, you also have Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis, who was Michael's counselor, and who's given up on Michael and wants to destroy him once and for all. Donald Pleasance is an English actor, very, very underrated. And yeah, having two really well acted heroes in this. You have the hell bent Dr. Loomis, and you have the teenage Laurie Strode. Both come together. Well, they're not really come together because they don't really share screen time. Both of them battling back the forces of evil. Really, really good stuff there. And just having the whole idea of Michael being like this personification of evil, like the way that it's written and it's very expertly made. This film, as I said, but ultimately the characters are what make this. But I also want to get back to the filming stuff. Like, you don't really see Michael a whole lot until much later in the film. I mean, like, we see him, but it's just like from a far distance until like later on in the film when he starts killing the babysitters and you see more of his Captain Kirk mask. Yeah, but yeah, this film right here, it's maybe a horror film, but it's ultimately a good work of art. It is one of the best films of 1978, despite it being low budget. That's what made it come out with such a bang. And there's barely any blood in this, but it's still very creepy. It's still very scary. It delivers the thrills. It delivers the goods. So I'm going to give Halloween from 1978 a perfect score. 4 stars.